Welcome everyone. Welcome to Voyage, Voice of Young Architect by me, Nour Tannoury. In this podcast, we will be traveling. On va faire un voyage in the journey of young architects to discover the unspoken truth about architecture. I still remember the first time I met my guest today. Not because she was the loudest in the class, not because she was chasing attention, but because I saw on a screen a Revit model and said, "Whoa, who did this?" My guest today doesn't search for attention, but her hard work speaks for her, and her amazing models say that Hanna did it. Welcome, Angela, to my podcast.
Hello, Nour. Thank you for having me.
Thank you
It's a
for being
pleasure
part
to be
of
here.
it.
Thank you.
Ready to start?
Of course.
Yeah. Let's go. في part 1 حنكون عم نعمل ice breaker.
Okay.
بالايس بريكر هو اسمه انه 3 things we should know about Angela.
Okay.
اوكي انا
Great.
حاعطيك الكريتير انت بدك تعطينا accordingly.
Okay.
Okay? First one thing that is professional.
One thing professional about me, I would say my attention to detail. Even though I like, of course, to see the big picture of the project, but I'm very detail oriented, let's say. I look into the smallest details in every project.
بالانترو بس قلت عن الريفت موديل هيدا كان الشيء اللي عن جد انه بطلع انه كل التفاصيل محطوطه بريفت موديل لكورس ما كان هالقد.
Yeah.
One thing personal about Angela.
One thing personal, I would say, and I think it shows with my personality, I'm very calm. So I feel like architecture by itself major بتتطلب الواحد يكون رايق ويكون عنده patience كتير. So yeah, that's mainly one thing that's dominant.
Okay. The last one thing unexpected about Angela.
I would say, even though I will link it actually to the first 2 points, even though I'm very calm when it comes to architecture and detail oriented, I also like when it comes to my projects to have these bold, crazy ideas. The ideas that stand out, that scare at first, that intrigue. I feel like this is where the project itself stands out. So while I love integrated projects, ones that are just almost invisible in their side, they feel like they belong there. I also love the projects that stand out, that are bold, that trigger something in people when they are using the building or when they're just walking and they just see this building, they sense something. So I love this boldness versus calmness in architecture, and I feel like I have it in me as well.
فيك تعطينا هيك example عن شي architectural project عملته أنجيلا هيك كان كتير bold.
أكبر example هو project الثيسس تبعي بالجامعة تبع الماسترز. سو كنت كتير عم فكر إنه أي بروجي بدي أشتغل وين بدي أعمله. عم فكر بطريقة يكون بروجي عن جد fully integrated بالسايت تبعه project فيه هالهارموني. بس رجعت فكرت إنه فيه البروجي يكون فيه هالهارموني وهالintegration بس يكون a shock to its surroundings at the same time ويكون standing out. وكنت كتير عم بعمل research هالفترة عن شو اللي طاغي هلا it was obviously AI. It was about a year ago كنا عم نسمع بالاي اي واللابز والروبوتس. قلت طب رح اعمل بروجيتي للجامعة ورح اقدم a new faculty للجامعة عنا رح تكون faculty of AI and robotics. So هذا كان بروجيتي. عملت faculty of robotics and AI سميته Nexus. And كان هذا البروجي على زها حديد. It was very bold. It was a big sphere with an underground auditorium with a big like skin wrapping the university ولقطة بالبروجي مرقة فوق الطريق. هالشي اللي ما كان بقى بس على سكيل الجامعة بس كان على urban scale عشوي إنه بالكاسليك وبجونية اللي عنده هالbig impact على surroundings. So this was, I would say, a bold move for me. أعمله to model it, to think of the functions جوا كيف بدهم يكونوا بقلب هالمشروع.
يعني you mentioned جونيا معروفة بالتراديشنال اللي فيها في هيك أن élément جاية du futuriste بتحسيه.
فوالا كان shocking element to its surroundings. كان في كتير ريسك بالثيسس تبعي إنه رح يكون في two ways of thinking. رح يكون في الجوري اللي بحب هالفكرة ورح يشجعها وفي الجوري بكي اللي رح ينتقد.
صح.
وأنت الشيء المهم وقتها تطلع ببروجي architecture student أو بعدين أنه تعرفي تدافعي عن هالفكرة.
مزبوط.
تعرفي تقولي ليش عملتي هيدا الشيء، يكون فيه هالسبب، يكون فيه هالكونسبت القوي that will not be shaken by just any argument.
بحلقة قبل حكينا عن AI وكان في كتير أصلا بس نحكي عن AI بالاركيتكتشر بنلاقي إنه في كتير آراء متناقضة. يعني في أشخاص بتشجع، في أشخاص بتعارض.
مزبوط.
أنت من أي كاتيجوري؟ هلا حسب شو حكيتينا من اللي بتشجع.
مزبوط.
فيك تشرحي لنا ليه؟
أكيد. هلا أنا بشجع بس ب a very specific way. كتير بنسمع إنه AI رح يحل محل الوظائف، AI رح يحل محل مهندس، AI عم ينزع شغل التلاميذ، عم يستخدموه بطريقة كتير overpowering يعني. أنا برأيي كان architect وهلا بدنا نعرف كمان نلحق التطور، يعني بدنا نعرف دايما نضل up to date. ال AI هي آلة ما رح تحل محلنا، بس الشخص المهندس بما عم نحكي هندسة اللي بيعرف يستخدمه بالطريقة المضبوطة هو اللي رح يسبق غيره.
صح.
بيساعد بكتير أمور، بيعطي أفكار. أوقات في processes بسرعن. كنا قبل نقعد نحط perspective تعمل rendering نتركها overnight 5 ساعات. هلأ ال AI بظرف 5 دقايق إذا مش أقل بيطلع لك هيدي الصورة بكواليتي كتير حلوة، بأوتبوت كتير حلو. ما رح يحل محلنا ال AI بس لازم نعرف نستفيد بالطريقة المضبوطة منه.
أنت هلا you use AI؟
I do use AI, of course in very specific areas. إن كان بشغلي my freelance projects وقتا كنت a student كنت أستعين في let's say for creativity purposes mainly. كأفكار، كيف الواحد بيروح بيشوف projects renowned architects، بيروح site visits بياخد فكرة عن هيدا البروجي. AI بيطلع لك أوقات بأفكار فيك تتأملي فيهم وفيك تستنتجي شي منهم. وبالاخر it's this puzzle of ideas here and there that you put together بكونوا لك بروجيتك اوقات او بكونوا لك فكره تنطلقي فيها تتاسسي البروجي اللي بدك تعمليه.
So for you AI هو اللي عم يعطيك الشقة في البازل. It's your brain as architect اللي عم يجمعهم مع بعضهم تيطلع output حلو.
مزبوط 100%.
اوكي. نحن بلشنا اصلا نفوت بالجامعة.
Yes.
بس let's say خلصنا هيدا البارت.
Great.
Let's move هيك لبارت الجامعة.
Amazing.
Okay.
Sure.
ببارت 2 حنكون عم نحكي فيها عن الجيرني. يعني أنا بس قررت أعمل هندسة شو كنت بعرف عنه. First question. أي متى عرفتي إنه أنجيلا بدها تصير مهندسة؟
هلا unlike many people اللي كانوا بركي عارفين من وقت عبكير انه بدهم يعملوا هندسة يفوتوا بالاركيتكتشر. For me it was a bit of a last minute decision. كنت عارفة بالسكوندير بروميير انه حابة شي خصه اكتر definitely not biology. That's what I knew what I did not want. كنت حب الفيزيكس، كنت حب كتير ارسم، بعدني بحب ارسم. فبتعرفي بتكوني قاعدة مع رفقاتك مع اهلك شو بدك تعملي بشو بتفكري. قالوا لي نهار رفيقتي actually قالت لي نهار طب بتحبي انت الفيزيكس وقوية بالرسم تعالي نفوت اركيتكتشر اثنيناتنا. وقلت لها بنفوت اركيتكتشر اثنيناتنا. وهذا اللي صار. انا فتت بالإيزاك وهي فاتت بالأليو. it was a journey لأنه ما كنا عارفين شو ناطرنا. it was a really unexpected journey but it turned out to be a very good one. وما بندم ولا لحظة على هالقرار اللي أخدته لأنه على التقليعة بتستصعبيها لأنه بتحسي ما في شيء أخدتيه من المدرسة بتقدري كتير تستفيدي منه بالجامعة بهالميجر بالذات. بس I learned to appreciate every course I was taking. Thankfully I had really good teachers who believed in me, who were able to show me إنه I was good at what I was doing. وهذا الشيء شجعني دايما كفي to push for the better. It reminded me kind of every day. I remind myself every day حاليا ليه I love what I do and I think it's a gift لأنه بحس ما في أصعب منها إنه الواحد يفوت بمجال يلاحظ إنه ما لقى حاله فيه ما يقدر يطلع منه. It affects your everyday life بعدين وقت تصيري بالشغل بالحياة يعني it's everything. هو 3/4 نهارك شغلك بيكون فالواحد كتير مهم يكون عم يعمل شيء بحبه. و I'm really grateful إنه I found myself in architecture.
حبيت شي قلتي انه بتذكري حالك كل يوم ليه بتحب الاركيتكتشر، لان هي فيها كتير صعوبات، حيلا ميجر بالعالم فيه كتير صعوبات.
مزبوط.
بس لازم على طول نتذكر الواي الفيجن تبعنا بي ايبل انه نبرح مثل ما برعتي انت بالجامعه، وام شور انه years later حنسمع اسم انجيلا.
Thank you.
ف keep on being هيك positive about your major.
Of course.
إذا هلا بدي أطلب منك تكوني عم هيك you're defining architecture. إيش جيت أنا لعندك حدا ما بعرف شيء خاص بالarchitecture قلت لك شو يعني architecture؟
Well, I would say it's the best way for you to leave a footprint on the world. Our job is something بأثر بكل شيء وبأثر على الكل بلا ما حتى الواحد يكون consciously ملاحظ هذا الشيء. انت البيت اللي بترجع عليه باخر النهار it's an architect عمله. انت الاوفيس اللي بتروحي بتشتغلي فيه كل يوم it's an architect عمله. ما عم نحكي بس عن the structure of the building as it is، عم نحكي عن the space where you live, the space where you work, wherever you go. انت بتروحي على a restaurant, a coffee shop بتنقيه based on what حلوة قعدته عن الأكل أكيد how good is the coffee of course. بس بالآخر I think you know كمان as an architect قد ايه a space where you're interacting with people, a space you go to بأثر على نفسيتك. Architecture is far beyond just a major, it's far beyond learning about structures or designing something cool. It's about كتير making sure عم برأيي هذا أهم شيء العالم اللي رح يستعملوا هيدا البيلدينج اللي عم تعمليه هذا السبيس هالهاوس whatever it is for them to feel good in it. You're affecting lives indirectly without knowing. And I feel like that's a beautiful thing and a big responsibility at the same time. وإذا بدي أحكي عن architecture كميجر لأن عم نحكي عن الجامعة I would say what you need the most is patience as a student who's going into university وعم بنقي هالميجر. بدي كتير patience بدي كتير passion لأنه هالpatience رح تجيك من passion that you have for what you do. The creativity, you develop it, you learn, you see, you read. The critics that you get بيعلموك في negative في positive أكيد. مهم دايما ما تخلي هول القصص يكونوا طاغيين على your core, your passion لهيدا الشيء. So this is my input about architecture.
اسم أنجيلا ذكر بلوريان لوجور.
مزبوط.
من وراء competition شاركت فيها مرتين صح؟
It's true.
فيك هيك تخبرينا شوي عن هيدا الجورني بالcompetition مع سان كوبان؟
Of course. My path بالجامعة was really let's say هيك made special by my participation to two competitions اللي هن driven by Saint-Gobain, the glass manufacturers company. قررت الجامعة عنا وكذا جامعة بلبنان بوقتها إنه يشاركوا بالarchitecture student contest. It was an annual competition launched by Saint-Gobain internationally. Lebanon was one of the participating countries, and basically every year the competition would be بنقوا بلد بيتفقوا مع بلدية تبع هذا البلد إنه بدهم يعملوا a new project يصمموه. Usually يكون لوجمان يكون ريزيدنسيال ويكون فيه دايما كمان بارت اللي هي renovation. So نحن كجامعة الروح القدس قرروا يشتركوا فيها واشتركنا فيها كصف design studio. The idea was really nice for all of us لأنه it was a challenge إنه عم نشتغل على competition، عم نشتغل على بروجي مش هون يعني مش إنه نروح نعمل فيزيت دو سيت أوكي البروجي لازم يكون بلبنان. It was an international project. أول edition كانت ببولند بوارسو. So the idea of doing research على هالمنطقة على هالبلد نشوف النيدز البروجرام تبعهم نعمل study عن كل شيء عندهم ونطلع ببروجي was لحالها already very fulfilling. هلا بوقتها me really loving to be challenged and I like competitions. I enjoy it not for the result of it لأنه in my opinion I was working hard for it not saying that I wanted to win or I wanted to get the prize لأنه it was very broad. It was our university وكذا جامعة بلبنان عم يشتركوا لإلي كنت لاقي فيها إذا بدك added value إنه عم بشتغل على بروجي انترناسيونال. So هيدي كانت كل الفكرة and I gave my best لأنه I loved doing this project. وقتها they announced the national prizes. I got the first prize, which meant that I was going to travel to Poland تقدم مع ال international participants كمان. So كانوا عم يبعتوا من كل بلد the first winner. ورحنا هونيك على محل البروجي for 3 days. قدمنا during the first 2 days our projects in front of a big jury panel. And then the third day it was also a side tour برمونا guides. We got to learn a lot of things about Saint-Gobain as well. وقرروا كمان ال prizes and everything. The project was shortlisted and I was very fulfilled and very happy لأنه برأيي هيدي كانت step كتير مهمة. I was really proud to represent my university ورحت وكانت فترة كوفيد بعدها كمان. So it was also out of the blue and challenging in that aspect. بس أخذت كتير خبرة من إنه أقدم بروجيتي مع كل هالinternational contestants. شوف هن بروجياتهم كيف فكروا بهالطريقة. و to be able to visit كمان the site of the project as it is. وتعلمت كتير يعني experience الcompetition شي كتير مهم و experience تسافري as an architect وتشوفي هذا شيء كتير مهم وأهم بعد. والإكسبيرينس إنه تكوني بين international architects as well لأنه كنت عم بتعامل مع الستودنتس اللي كمان راحوا تقدموا their projects وكنت كمان إنه I was communicating مع الأساتذة اللي إجوا مع هول التيمز. So كلها على بعض experience was wonderful and it really shaped my path بالجامعة. It was incredible وكنت عن جد هيك very grateful to be able to represent my university. It always felt like I was giving back. يعني الأساتذة يعطونا يقولونا قد ما أنتم بتعطوا نحن بنقدر نعطي. حس إنه أوكي بدي أعطي كمان. It was during the second competition which all 3 prizes were from USAC as well.
Nice.
That Miss Carol, if I recall her name well, من لوريان لو جور وقتها كتبت article عنا and عملت مثل reportage و we made it.
Ready ل part 3? It's my favorite هلا. part 3 حتكون the challenge اللي هو اسمه un peu de tout. Okay. So اللي حيصير إنه let's say you have a project. You have to decide what type of project. Okay. Then رح تسحبي ورقة. من البروجكت اللي حيطلع لك you will pick the element اللي بتحسي إنه بيميز هذا البروجكت. You want to steer it for the project you want to do at the end. Okay. So just you write the element اللي بدك تسرقيه من البروجكت. Okay.
Great.
يلا pick now a project.
Okay. Let's say a library.
Okay. Yeah. pick it budget تسحب.
I'll go for this one. Okay, so Church of Light تداو عنده. And I have to write شو اللي بدي اخده من هال project. Okay, so okay, so I would say it's the minimalism. And I will say why. So Church of Light على اسمها it's a very minimalistic architecture. It is a church and the main element فيها هو light, ضوء. Personally I really love تداو عنده style. I love specifically this project لأنه استعمل concrete as the main material. استعمل الضوء. So you have this contrast between the heaviness and the lightness, something that's material and something that's immaterial. والimmateriality صارت هي material بحد ذاتها. I would say in the project of a library, the light is a very important element. What's even more important, I feel like the spaces that require focus or spaces that are quiet, because a library is quiet, يكون فيها المينيماليزم. إن كان بالmaterials I would imagine a library with a lot of openings, a lot of light coming in. عكس a church of light where the light that goes in is very minimal. For a library it has to be flooded by light. So this minimalism in terms of materials و in terms also of ambiance إذا بدنا نحكي.
Okay, great. Yeah. Second project.
Second project.
لا فينا نضل قصدي نضل على اللايبرري بس نسحب another
okay, perfect. That makes it easier. Okay.
بدنا نشوف بالاخر شو البوكيه اللي حتطلع لللايبرري اللي نقيتيها.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so it's Farnsworth House by Miss Van der Rohe. Okay. I would pick functionality. Farnsworth House, it's actually a house retreat, a summer retreat that the architect did. If you look at it, it's really just the necessary, and it's very transparent. It's really all about functionality. It's what the user needs to be able to live in that space. And it's nothing more. There are no ornaments, there are no extra little things going on here. It's very simple in terms of materials, slabs. We also see the very important role that the light plays in this project. So it goes back a little bit to the project of Tada وأندو, which is عكس 100%, بس فيها lightness وفيها transparency وفيها functionality. The library has to be very functional. If I wanted to steal another concept from it, I would say openness as well, because we see that the project is very open and very transparent, but functional is a very important thing for any architecture project, so it's important to keep that core concept in mind. Okay, this is a challenging one. Chapelle Notre-Dame du Haut by Le Corbusier. Okay, this one, I will say originality, and I wrote it at the top this time. Originality, because if we look at this project, it is very original. It stands out. It's not the calm, secluded church. It's not the fully integrated, quiet architecture. You look at it and you feel something, it stands out, and it is a signature by itself, this chapelle, the silhouette of it, it stands out. And anyone who sees it, sometimes not even architects, will recognize it. It's a landmark by itself, and I feel like that a good architecture is one that also becomes a landmark at some point, whether it's by its shape or by its name, but it stands out in that specific way. So I would say for the library to be original, it can have a crazy shape like this, or it can be original in a different way, but it's something very important for any project.
حسب اللي قلتي لنا اياه بالاول, you're very bold movement, so
yes, definitely. So you have to have a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, last one. The
last one, Cathédrale Notre-Dame de Paris, which is a personal favorite. Okay. And I picked for this one emotional. By emotional, I mean that any good architecture is an architecture that makes you feel something.
صح.
وأكيد عم نحكي عن المشاعر الإيجابية مش المشاعر السلبية. اللي هو شيء كنت عم أقوله بالأول إنه نحن دورنا كمهندسين إنه تحسسي اللي عايش بهيدا السبيس اللي مارق بهيدا المحل تحسسيه بشعور حلو. كاتدرال نوتردام دو باري فيها هالغرانديوز, فيها هالشي اللي بتحسيه وقت تفوتي عليها أو وقت توقفي قدامها. أنا personally كان عندي خبرة 6 أشهر هلأ بنرجع نحكي فيها بباريس. It was my go-to place. أوقات ما فوت عليها, أوقات من برا حب أوقف وأتأمل فيها لأنه كانت تحسسني بشي وشي حلو. برأيي هيدي اللايبراري اللي هلأ طلعنا فيها it has to drive emotions. It has to drive good emotions. كيف? Maybe through the originality, the minimalism, maybe through the shape you give it to, maybe through the way the spaces are intertwined جوا, the functionality. It can be anything, but it has to make you feel something. So this would be the last thing I take for this project.
كتير حسيت انه اختصرت الاركتكتشر والاربع كلمات. هنا عم نحكي اوريجيناليتي، يعني حدا بده يكون هو عم يطلع بايديه شوي اوت اوف ذا بوكس. مينيماليزم يعني الكورون اللي بدي امشي فيه.
مزبوط.
الفونكسيون اللي هي اهم شيء، والايموشن اللي هي اساس الاركتكتشر، والا we're not here. I like it. Did you like the game?
I love the game.
اوكي ديجا انت حكيتينا شوي عن شيء حنحكي عنه هلا. اوكي سو ببارت 4 حنكون عم نحكي عن الشغل. رح بلش بإساي سمعتها اللي هي بتقول As an architect, at 10 o'clock in the morning, you need to be a poet. At 11, you must become a humanist. At noon, you absolutely need to be a builder, because architecture is the art of making buildings. And guess who said it?
Renzo Piano.
So knowing إنه أنت اشتغلتي معه,
yes.
How would you describe working with Renzo Piano?
Working with Renzo Piano is, how to describe it in one word? It's hard to just put one word into this incredible experience. But I would say, ورح أرجع على فكرة الباشن اللي حكيت فيها أول شيء، إنه it reminded me why I chose this path. It reminded me why I loved what I was doing. Every single day I was going to his office. I saw beauty in every project. I saw beauty in the way he would be with us. Actually, Renzo Piano is still coming to the office every day, sitting with the architects, sketching his ideas, and turning these ideas into incredible projects. And it was just very eye-opening and insightful, and a reminder. I will pick just this one word for this experience. It was a reminder why I loved what I did and why architecture is a beautiful thing to dive into and to do as your job. So yes, that's how I would summarize it.
I like the smile I see on your face.
Yeah.
بس تحكي عن هيدا experience.
Good
It
memories.
shows قديش عبتك من الاركيتكتشر.
عن جد.
شو هو the most inspiring building اشتغلتي عليه مع رينزو؟
هلا أنا بس كنت عند رينزو بيانو. I was part of 2 projects. I was of course witness to other projects being built and worked on. بس كنت عم بشتغل mainly على a conceptual project. كنا بعنا conceptual design. It was a high-rise tower in Shenzhen. Honestly, just the scale of the project by itself is incredible and is crazy. To feel like you're working on such a huge, impactful project in such an important place. It was actually the headquarters for a big company there. هيدا كان شي لحاله كتير مميز لخبرتي الشخصية، وكمان فكرة إنه كنت عم بشتغل بتيم مكون من كذا architect، كل واحد جاي من background معين. So the team had 2 girls who were from Spain, an architect from Italy, an architect from China because the project was in Shenzhen. We would be working with the consultants who are also in China. We would be attending meetings with Arup and like the clients from who you get great like background, great ideas, great exposure overall. It was a beautiful project to work on, and definitely seeing all the projects that the office at Renzo Piano was working on was mesmerizing, honestly.
شو السوفت سكيلز اللي تعلمتيهم with working مع رينزو بيانو والتيم تبع رينزو؟
The soft skills are many. أول وحدة هي التيم وورك اللي هي كتير مهمة، لأنه بهيك بروجيات كبيرة ما فيك تعملي كل شي لحالك. بدك communication، بدك coordination. والشي الحلو عن رينزو بيانو إنه while many might think إنه a architect office maybe would be really overwhelming, or maybe the teamwork would not be pleasant. At Renzo, the experience was amazing. The team was very friendly. All the people there were very welcoming. This is why إنه الشغل معهم it was a pleasure, and it was the kind of work where you learn from each person, where you can ask for help and they would help you, and you would be able to give back. They would teach you so much, you'd be able to give back, and they would see your potential as well into work. So teamwork, communication هول كتير كانوا مهمين. I would say also leadership, but in a very specific way, because at the end of the day you have the project managers and the project leaders who are leading it, but leadership in your own kind of bubble where you're working and you have to take the lead on challenging tasks. And Renzo Piano بيشتغلوا كل شيء Revit و BIM, which is something nowadays firms really look into and look for. They always recruit architects who are working with BIM. ليش؟ لأنه البروسيس هلا this is what's basically making the project work in the best ways. This is what helps great coordination between all the fields, and can engineering, architecture, MEP. I have personally learned Revit, and I did in my previous work experiences work on BIM. But the level of work BIM and Renzo Piano is also different, because you work with so many people on the same model at the same time. There are things you're gonna experience that you're learning for the first time, so you should not be scared. You have to take the lead, and you have to stand up and not be afraid to ask and not be afraid to learn. وهذا الشيء كان كتير بالنسبة لإلي عطاني هالadded value بالشغل عنده خاصة.
كتير مهم يعني هلا as young architect ما يخافوا يسألوا، مش إنه يتوقع إنه they are supposed to know everything، أو إنه خلص ما بعرف ما رح أسأل. لا, don't grow like this.
Not at all, exactly. I feel like nobody knows everything. Even the greatest architect رح يجي شيء ما رح يكون ماري عليه لأنه it's new, or it's something he didn't dive in or he didn't specialize in. It's okay to know that we don't have to know everything.
صح. إذا حكيت شوية عن ريفت، من فترة كان عندي ديبيت مع حدا، مع مانجر، وقال لي إنه ريفت ما بحب يتعلم ريفت، وريفت هو تضييع وقت، وبنقعد بنضيع وقتنا كرمال نعمل فاميلي 10 ساعات بينما فينا نعملها على اوتوكاد او على سكتش اب فرضا بطريقه كتير اسرع. What is your say about this topic?
I get his point of view لأنه there are many people I know and architects عم يستصعبوا يتقبلوا فكرة Revit اللي هلا الكل عم يطلب فيها، وقد ما all the offices are asking for Revit, it has become overwhelming وبتحسي إنه خلص it's revolting at some point. Why shouldn't we just stick to AutoCAD or the old ways? I would say Revit الفكرة فيه إنه فيه كتير added value للشغل، فيه كتير صحيح إنه أول شيء تستوعب الطريقة السوفتوير بيشتغل it needs time, you need practice، بس رح يهين لك كتير شغل لبعدين، خاصة وقت the building moves from a preliminary design phase to execution phase. You need to coordinate مع الانجينير، الميكانيكال، الالكتريكال. You need to show the client when it's about visual communication as well. The client كتير بهمه يفهم the space. مش كل الكلاينتس جايين من background بيعرفوا يقروا خرايط. It's important to be able to show them in 3D, which is what Revit allows you to do, how their space is gonna look like. It eases communication بين الاركيتكتس اللي عم يشتغلوا على البروجي. إذا عندك كلاش بين عمود بين a beam and a shaft, let's say, okay, sure, you're gonna be able to tell on AutoCAD. If you overlay the plans, you can see it, you will know eventually. أوقات الواحد ما بينتبه، بتوصل على الأرض بتبين هالمشكلة. وين الشيء المنيح بريفت إنه بتكون عم تعمل structural model، a model للميكانيكال، a model للإلكتريكال، a model للأركيتكتشر، للشال. كنا هيك نشتغل عند رينزو. You would have for each field a specific model. You combine all these models into one central model, the cloud model. ببين لك كل البروجي as a whole. And there you can detect the clashes. وفي plugins to detect these clashes. It's not like you're gonna come see every floor and try to see where things are clashing. So it's automated. It's true إنه it takes more time بس as the project is in development وبصير في تعديلات كتير. بنعرف نحن بشغلنا قد ايه ببلش البروجي شيء بيخلص شيء تاني، بصير في كتير variations وخاصة وقتها بتفوت قصة الستراكشر وقصة الام اي بي وكله بيتعدل مع كله. BIM و Revit overall it's really a powerful tool.
صح.
وهلا كمان لانه حكينا عن الاي اي صار عندك الاي اي plugins على Revit that help you not just visualize the problems, that help you render the models, that help you come up with videos of the model being built like from scratch وكيف بيطلع كله. Again it's about seeing كيف هلا عم يتطور هالمجال ونجرب نلحقه to not stay behind وبالنهاية مش يهين لنا شغلنا بس نعرف نعمل شغلنا بطريقة practical أكتر.
صح.
we all know that the more you're practical بشغلك the more you attract also new opportunities, new projects come your way. when قبل إنه كان ياخد بروجي ما بعرف 5-6 سنين بركي on the phase of design و execution وخرايط تيرجعوا ينفذوه، هلا بركي مع الريفت that time is half of
it
time
وكوست. يعني انت عم توفري تايم وكوست so it's
100%
diamond بالنسبة للاركيتكت
100% and it opens more opportunities for you. So it is important to basically take advantage of that and not be scared of change or not be scared of these new softwares and these new ways of building and designing.
اوكي نحن هيك بنكون وصلنا لآخر البودكاست. I hope you enjoyed it.
It was amazing.
We will
Thank
finish
you.
it with one final questions اللي هي شوي it's common ب most of the podcast. إذا هلا أنجيلا بترجع على first year أنجيلا قبل ما تفوت على الجامعة what would you say to her?
I would tell her that it was all worth it and it's actually very funny لأنه بتذكر بأول سنة جامعة I was struggling with a design project and I remember writing on one of my planners because me being very detailed oriented and task oriented I always would keep track of my tasks on a planner. I remember actually writing to myself that time when I was struggling with the project it's gonna be worth it. It has to be worth it. And I look at myself now 7 years later after having had incredible experiences بالجامعة بالcompetitions عند Renzo Piano وهلأ بشغلي حاليا بطلع وبقول it was worth it. It was worth it. التعب ما بيروح ديعان. وقتها بتعملي شي بتحبيه بتتعبي عليه بس ترجع بتلاقيه وهذا الشيء بكونك بخليك انت الشخص اللي بلشتي بهالميجر يصير شخص اقوى، شخص عنده نظرة ابعد، شخص عنده افكار احلى. It transforms you into someone even better than you thought you were. So
Thank you Angela for being part of this podcast and for sharing your journey with us and with the young architects. Our dear young architects, I hope you enjoyed this episode. See you in our next voyage in the journey of a new young architect.
Voyage, voyage.